Hello YouTube, hopefully the lighting and everything is okay, hopefully you can see me. I've just had to change from that Joby Gorilla Pod stand because it's really a pain in the backside. Shakes the camera around, makes you have seasickness or whatever. But today's a quick, well tonight, because it is rather late, it's just gone 11. And I am most probably showing that I don't have a happy face. I have very far from a happy face. I almost have a very red face because I'm quite tired. But I've been sort of, doing a lot of that very recently. And the main reason is because of this. Now, might look a little bit sort of one-sided. There you go, I can put that over there and so on and so forth. It looks nicer. Now this is my Iwata Custom Micron Plus airbrush. Fantastic. I love it an awful lot. It allows me to do the most amazing paint jobs and stuff like that. I mean, for example, well, amazing to me, I suppose, as I said in one of my previous model discussions. Hopefully that might be getting into some kind of view. This is one of the heretics, no, what they call cultists, I did last night. And to be followed, hopefully, if I get that in the way again, hopefully that's all viewable and stuff like that. And basically, for the more astute out of you, will realise that I've started painting again, even though I said I was going to stop. Now the main reason is because there's an awful lot of release of nice good new models and stuff like that, and I did go without a couple of months of not painting, but I found that, well, apart from the fact it was very hard, but I was finding that I was trying to utilise some of my free time on playing on my computer, like Warhammer 40k Space Marine, and I was spending most of my time doing that. Well, it'd be better to do something a little bit more creative, and so now I'm using my painting of models as a reward system. Basically, I've got to do at least around about 2 hours, worth of PhD work, and then I can give myself half an hour to an hour's worth of painting just to relax and calm myself down, collect my thoughts, think about something else. It is, I was told by my supervisor, it is a very important thing to take time off from doing your work, even though you're in your final year. It is a very important thing. So I thought, okay, I'll crack open the paints, but I will not get suckered in like I have been with my painting, where I'll be just painting and painting and painting and doing nothing else. So anyway, whilst a fly is flying around annoying me, tonight I started to use this. I used it yesterday. It was in storage. I cleaned it and greased it and packed it away and used it in storage, and then tonight I found that I had a problem with a certain piece, which is I discussed about on my forum. No, not my forum. What am I talking about? My blog. And it is this piece here that I'm taking off, and it is called the fluid head nozzle. And it might not get into focus, it might do, that might not be right or whatever, but basically that snapped in a previous time and caused me a lot of heartache and what else have you. And this tiny piece of engineered metal costs £46 to get it new. So I got it new, basically put it in here, and I've cleaned the airbrush and stuff like that. And now tonight, as you can see, I'm not the happiest of bunnies. Now tonight I have found that this airbrush does something known as skipping. I'll show you what skipping is very soon, after I just discuss a little bit on this. Now, your head nozzle directs paint flow. The air is directed around it, they mix in this point here, and you get your lovely pieces of work and what else have you, and what people do. And you've seen, some of the things I've done. Now tonight I was trying to paint him, and as you may or may not see from the level of lighting that I've got here, Some parts are redder than others, it looks very uneven, it doesn't look good whatsoever. And the main reason is because this is skipping. Now I shall show you what skipping is. Hopefully you're able to see some of that. I had to use the black top to my undercoat spray can to try and deal with it, to try and help you see. And the main reason, don't know anything to that one, do I? The main reason normally is the fact that you're using your airbrush, and sometimes inside your head nozzle, your fluid nozzle joint, head joint, this part here, paint, there might be just one flake of paint, that's all it needs, just one flake of paint to get stuck, and then basically screws up the airflow. Sometimes it flaps and does whatever, and it is a real pain in the backside. And then what you've got to do is clean it, nothing else. What have I found out today? Well, I did a special test using, if you get a professional, or a very good grade of airbrush, you get something like this. It's just basically a lubricant, but it's a thick viscous lubricant. And after an awful lot of cleaning and after an awful lot of inspections, I have managed to determine that either inside this part here or inside this part here, a thread isn't too happy. A thread has been broken somehow. Without getting this to the to my laboratory where I can actually look at it underneath a microscope, I can't tell you which thread it is, but I can tell you that there is definitely a thread problem, because on the thread that's on the head fluid nozzle, I placed a lot of that super lube and then basically closed it back up. After a first couple of squirts, the flow was absolutely fine. Unfortunately, after those first couple of squirts of air and water mix, the flow wasn't so fine. And that concludes that the grease or the lubricant had started flowing through and thinning out of the actual threads inside. Also, there is a display of a constant flow, of bubbles up in the paint paint cup. In which case, that's even with just pushing the button down. So this is, this, as the title suggests, is a problem which you have to try and sort out. Now, the problem, as I've stated, is that you've got skipping in the paint flow, and you've already seen it. The problem arises from paint normally in the case there, or a little few blockages inside the head joint there, or a damaged thread. Now, I have had to spend over £130 on a new set of these, so I'm going to get a whole brand new set within the next 48 hours hopefully from a supply company. And when you're dealing with these kinds of things and the sheer amount of money they cost, I cannot stress enough that you need to be careful. The lack of cleanliness is an absolute major problem. It's the biggest problem that you have if you've got an airbrush and you're finding it's not working properly. Then it will be due to the fact that it's not clean. If you're very unlucky like I am and you break a thread from the fluid head inside here and then you have to buy a new one, basically another 40 quid. Then you find that's a bit of a pain in the ass. Afterwards it becomes a real deal problem, and like I've had tonight, I cannot use this whilst it's skipping. That is the issue. Something either gone wrong in there or something in there, but basically I've had to buy a new one of these if I want to use this again. Now the ways around it: one, make sure you keep your airbrushes clean. You cannot be they cannot be over stressed enough. You must make sure that your airbrushes are clean. Secondly of all, try not to screw around when cleaning with these things. Now I've had to learn the very hard way and the very expensively hard way, but basically I am now going to be very loathed in general when I get my new head system, my fluid head system, which is all of this. I am now going to have to make sure I keep that fluid head nozzle firmly in place even when cleaning. Now I am lucky, as I said, I used to have an old airbrush, and therefore I can use this in helping me with the cleaning of the nozzle if I can get it in properly. This is an old bent needle, and basically that can help me unplug that. But basically from now on I am not going to remove the head fluid nozzle unless I have no other options. So people of YouTube, this is a very annoyed Andy and a very lighter in the pocket Andy also, basically explaining a problem that I've had to deal with tonight. If you've got any comments or questions below, please do put them below. If you like what you like or want to subscribe, then please do. That's absolutely fantastic. I am really hoping that I can help people with some of my unfortunate effects and this is certainly one of them. Anyway, I shall catch you later.